Indian-American actor Kal Penn, he served on the Barack Obama administration in the past. He feels most Americans don't agree with the Republicans' presumptive nominee Donald Trump's alleged racist views. The actor, he's currently filming in India. He said, and I quote, "I seriously believe that most of the Americans don't agree with Donald Trump's racist, anti-women, anti-LGBT practices. We are not that country. Hopefully, elections will prove that," unquote. Now, Penn is a renowned actor. He was associated with the White House. He was associate director with the White House public engagement team from 2009 to 2011.
I have with me Indian-American actor Kal Penn, who's here in India to shoot a movie. But because he's worked with the Obama administration, I'll quickly draw him in on the US presidential campaign. Before I get into the campaign, I want to ask you the kind of legacy that President Obama is leaving.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. First of all, it's nice to be back in Delhi. I think the legacy, as far as if you look at his campaign promises and a lot of the things he's achieved, he wanted to increase college affordability and double something called the Pell Grant that we have in the U.S. He's stood up for marriage equality and women's issues and has launched a number of campaigns on that front. If you look at national security, there are things like Guantanamo that he's still committed to closing, opening up relations with Cuba, which he's done, the Iran nuclear deal, a lot of trade partnerships. So I think those are things that when we look back, we're going to say, wow, that's actually quite a bit that was accomplished in just 8 years, not to mention healthcare and a lot of other domestic policies. And I'm hoping that's the legacy that'll continue based on who wins in November. I would hate to see any of that get rolled back. I have a lot of people who I've met who have really benefited from that.
But a lot of people do fear that that legacy might perhaps not be carried forward because there's a candidate in the form of Donald Trump who's creating a lot of uncertainty, especially with the minority, with the Muslim community. How would you react to some of his statements that have come?
So unfortunately, all of the Republican candidates were promising to undo all of the progress that President Obama made. So that's unfortunate. But I think, Mr. Trump in particular, I don't feel represents most Americans. If you look at the numbers of people who voted in the Republican primary, most of them did not vote for Donald Trump. It's just that in each state he got the majority by a very slim margin in some cases and by bigger ones in other cases of that vote. So if you add up all the numbers of all the other candidates, most people voted for other candidates than Donald Trump. That's been my experience as an American also. We tend to be very welcoming. Our Muslim community is thriving, is integrated. They are as American as the rest of us. And I hope that rhetoric that Mr. Trump is spouting is going to be countered in a pretty heavy way in November.